Welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Alex Cologne. This is Will Greenwald, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 news stories of the day. We're going to answer one of your questions, and we're going to show you one cool thing from the PCMag labs. So let's start with our first news story of the day, and this is an Apple patent application that recently surfaced, shows that Siri might be heading to the desktop. And what's that all about, Will?
Well, as you said, it is a patent application, so we don't know if it's really going to do anything because patent applications go through the tech world really, really often, and not all of them come to fruition within years of them being filed. But it really makes sense. Most iMacs have cameras, microphones, and Siri has been integrated into iOS for years, so you'd think that we'd have Siri as a virtual helper, just press a button on a Mac.
I kind of like the idea of it. I don't know how much I would use it, but like for my parents, like if Siri could somehow tell them the proper way to send an email, that would be amazing.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do think it's natural for Siri on computers because unlike with phones and iPads, your computer's going to be on all the time and connected to the internet, so you'll be able to access the stuff that makes Siri work because that's not actually inside the device.
Right, and there is, in the Yosemite beta preview, there is no mention of Siri in it, so if it does actually happen, it's probably not going to be in the near future, but we'll see, we'll keep an eye on it.
I think they're waiting for a new big cat species to be announced so they can actually have a new proper Mac OS X.
In other news, Amazon has shut her back in the news, and Amazon quotes George Orwell out of context in an attempt to defend its controversial ebook pricing.
First, Alex, could you define irony to me?
No.
Okay. Well, misquoting Orwell is up there because they quote him as saying if publishers had any sense, they would have banded together against paperbacks and stopped them from happening. But he was referring to how great paperbacks were when in the mid-30s Penguin publisher produced 6-pence paperback versions of these much more expensive hardcovers, like great works of literature. Paperbacks are actually much, much older than the time he was referring to, but they were in the form of like penny dreadfuls, dime novels, and this was putting like real, genuine literature into the hands of the masses affordably. So it's really not the best message when you take something Orwell said and turn it around in that weird way with this bizarre sparring Hachette and Amazon are going through. But it's an interesting discussion considering they're wrestling with how to price ebooks.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be ending anytime soon, no. So I'm curious to see what else will come of it.
It's going to be a battle royale with probably more publishers jumping in.
Yeah, and in other news, a new crowdsourced navigation app, Sketch Factor, is being called racist.
This is a case of the unfortunate combination of very uncomfortable subjects and very complex statistics. Because statistically speaking, issues of areas of poverty, areas of large minority populations, areas of urbanization tend to match up with areas that the app considers sketchy, areas of high crime. But it goes into a lot of questions of, well, sort of which came first, the chicken or the egg, but even then it's a much, much more complex question of demographics shifting over the decades between urban and suburban areas, issues of different groups having statistically high levels of poverty, and the reasons for that, and the answers to the reasons for that are even more complex and even more uncomfortable to discuss. And at the end of the day, you have an app that they might not have had any racist intention at all. That's actually quite likely. But the result is you have people saying, oh, this primarily minority neighborhood is sketchy, and that's an unfortunate thing.
Right, and if you haven't actually heard of what Sketch Factor is, it is a crowdsourced app that lets you report on the sketchiness factor of a neighborhood.
That context would have helped before I went to my spiel.
So yeah, go back and watch that part again. And now that you know...
watch the whole thing, twice.
I mean, the site, the people that created it, they say that it is, any discriminatory posts will be taken down, but it is sort of a weird, uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, but that's more a sociological question than necessarily what the app was intended for.
Right.
Now, Hooper asks, I'm thinking about getting a new vacuum. Should I stick with a traditional upright vacuum or a robot vacuum?
So Hooper, it depends on what you want to use the vacuum for. We've tested a bunch of robot vacuums and we've tested a bunch of traditional upright vacuums. Yep. And the thing is, robot vacuums are great if you just need to sort of maintain your space. The upright vacuums, you're still going to get a lot more control, a lot more power. The fact that you're pushing them around yourself, it's usually faster. What I would say is...
You can also go between floors, which is helpful that robots can't do.
Absolutely. If you are interested in a robot vacuum, one of our favorites that we've tested, the Neato XV Signature Pro, it's also one of the least expensive. It's still pretty expensive at $449.
Right.
But you could always buy that and then a sort of less expensive upright model. and once a month, do the hard work with the upright, and then just run your robot vacuum every few days or so. But yeah, the robot vacuums, I really enjoy them, but they're still not quite at the point where they're as powerful as a traditional vacuum. So I would take that into consideration. And that said, we're now going to show you one cool thing.
This is LEGO Fusion Townmaster, one of 4 LEGO Fusion augmented reality LEGO kits. This little plate right here is an AR tag that an app on your iPad can read, and it will scan whatever you build into a sort of SimCity-like game. So say you have a citizen that says, I want a pizzeria. You can build a pizzeria within this space, take a picture with your iPad, and it will make that into a pizzeria in the game. So you're moving constantly between the game and building, sort of keeping kids active and not entirely spending their time staring at a screen. It's quite a fascinating piece of the future of toys.
And we're going to have a review up on this this week, right?
Yep, and we're also going to be looking at several of the other LEGO Fusion kits. There are currently 4 coming this year.
Cool. So yeah, check our site for the review, and we will see you again tomorrow.